Hello everyone. My name is Jyoti Sharma, and this is my first week, and the live session will be from 7 to 9 only. This is my brief introduction that I'm a PhD student and I'm doing my PhD from Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Bhopal. I did my MSc from Forest Research Institute, Dehradun, and BSc honors from University of Delhi. And right now, because I'm a PMRF research fellow, that's why I have to take this live class every week from 7 to 9. And so today we will start with week one. And please let me know in which language you are comfortable. It may be that you are comfortable in Hindi or you are comfortable in English. So, based on the vote, I can proceed either in Hindi or English. I do not know third language like Telugu, Malayalam. I am just comfortable in English or in Hindi, so you people can like communicate with me in Hindi or English only. So okay, sure. I will go on with English. Thank you for your feedback. This is how we will proceed. So I will have a lot of MCQ questions, and we will try to find out the solution of each of these MCQ question, and we will have the discussion. So I would request you to speak, or even you can write in the chat box whatever answer you are thinking, or it may be that sometime I'm wrong, you can correct me anytime. So in this way we will have a very warm discussion, and based on the discussion we will go forward with the with all the coursework, right? So if I'm talking about uh, what content I will cover, so this is like the first week that has been uploaded by the faculty, and this is based on introduction, ecology, environment, and biodiversity. Then a little bit discussion on ecosystem services, and a lengthy discussion on risk, and then we have tutorials. Like we have the numerical question, so we will also solve that in the form of MCQ. Just I have MCQs, and based on that MCQ we will try to cover all this lecture, right? And again, I'm just requesting you that please speak, please write in the chat box, so that like you can learn, I can also learn from you. Coming to chapter one. So chapter one is basically on environment and its components. So we will talk about different layer of the atmosphere here, and then about the earth. Then we have some discussion over natural interaction. Then we have two or three MCQ question on environmental pollution and sustainability. Again, we have some question on environmental pollution, and some laws, some conferences has been held based on this environmental issue. So we will talk about this. So let's go to the MCQ, a very basic MCQ. So I'm just starting with a very basic, and then we will go, whenever we will go to the risk based question, then obviously it will be the advanced step. So right now this is just to let me know how much you know. So the first question is, which is or are the layer of the atmosphere? So I have four options: troposphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, all of these. So you can write in chat box which of the answer you are find suitable. I'm asking about the layer of the atmosphere. So, what do you think? Uh, how many layers we have in the atmosphere? Pradeep gave me D answer. Chinky also gave me D answer. I'm expecting more answer. Okay. Anyway, so yes, D is right answer. Damari, I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know, but yes, you also gave me the right answer. So D is the right answer. That all of these. Let me show you how. So we have earth, okay, and we have surface of the earth. Above that surface of the earth we have the layer, and this layer is known as the troposphere. Okay, above the troposphere we have the stratosphere. Above that stratosphere we have mesosphere, then thermosphere, and then we have the exosphere. So as we will go up from that surface, we will have different thin layer. Okay, and if okay, so I also have one slide to show you the height of each of these layers. So if you are talking about the troposphere, so let's say this is the earth surface, so up to 12 or 13 kilometer, so up to that we have the troposphere. After like from 13 kilometers to 50 kilometer we have the stratosphere. Then up to 85 kilometer we have mesosphere, and up to like beyond that we have the thermosphere. And there is a one, I don't know, you people are like from BSc or BTech, you are BTech student or AmTech student, but if your people are appearing in the net exam, so there is a one very basic question is being asked in net exam. That question is, which of the layer uh, reaches to the lowest temperature? So can you tell me which of the layer reaches to the lowest temperature from that figure only? Can anybody answer me like this question, which of the layer reaches the lowest temperature?
Troposphere.
No, you can see here like troposphere, we are having it near to minus 58 degrees Celsius. Let me use this pen if I'm able to. So can you see this? This is approximately near to minus 58 degrees Celsius. But here, if you will go to the mesosphere, so this is near to minus 92 degrees Celsius. Minus 2 degrees Celsius. So the answer will be, it is a mesosphere that reaches the lowest temperature, and that lowest temperature is approximately minus 92 degrees Celsius. And if you will see here, troposphere, whenever we will go up, there will be decrement in temperature with the elevation. But in the stratosphere, the temperature will increase. In the mesosphere again temperature will decrease, and in thermosphere again temperature will increase. Can anybody tell me why this is happening? So whenever we are going up to the elevation, so so there is a decrement in the temperature. Can you tell me the terminology of this? Decrease in the temperature with the elevation is known as what? Have you heard about the lapse rate? So lapse rate is decrease in the temperature with the elevation, and this is happening in the troposphere. Okay, so here the temperature will reduce whenever we will increase the height. But in the stratosphere, because this is the region where ultraviolet radiation will come to that place and ozone will be formed. Okay, and so based on that ultraviolet radiation presence in that stratosphere, the temperature will increase. But in again mesosphere we have again like the same lapse rate as we have in the troposphere. And in thermosphere we have the ions, and because we are going beyond to the earth, we are going closer to the sun, so here we will have ions or atoms, so that's why again the temperature will be picked up, right? So okay, so this is all about the atmosphere. So my question was just like that, how much layer or what layer we have in the atmosphere. So we are starting with the troposphere, then stratosphere, then mesosphere, and then thermosphere, right? So I think this is clear. Should I go to the next? Let me clear it. Should I go to the next question? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sure. Carry on.
Thank you. Okay, next question is also related to the atmosphere, and in this, in which layer of the atmosphere does the majority of weather phenomena occur? So we have four options again: stratosphere, thermosphere, troposphere, and mesosphere. So what do you think? What should be the answer for this? Mm, Pradeep gave me
Troposphere.
C answer. Yes. And Mahima also gave me C answer. Yes, your answer is right. That is the troposphere. And you know that troposphere is very near to the surface, right? And whenever we are talking about the composition of our atmosphere, this is mostly based on the troposphere, where we do have CO2, where we have nitrogen dioxide, a lot of gases we have here. And we also have some turbulence, so whatever is happening. And even you people know that from surface we do have the evaporation. And evaporation, whenever the water will be condensed, it will form some cloud, and then rainfall will occur. Okay, so such kind of phenomena will occur only in the uh, troposphere, but some of the cloud we can see also in the stratosphere. But here the answer will be troposphere. So I'm going to the next question. Which of the following best describes the biosphere in relation to the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere? And we have four options here. The biosphere is a separate layer of Earth that does not interact with other sphere. B option is the biosphere includes only terrestrial organism living on the lithosphere. C is the biosphere is the zone of life that exists at the intersection of the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. And D is the biosphere only include organism living in aquatic environment. So I already have two answer from Pradeep. It is C. Katawa. It is again C. Can I expect more answer from more people? So right now we do have here four terminologies. The first is biosphere, the second is lithosphere, and then third is hydrosphere, and then atmosphere. And this question is just asking the relation of these four sphere with each other. Shishain also gave me C. Okay. Yes, the answer is C. Let me show you. This is very basic. I'm starting with the basic only, then we will go to the advanced one so that I can have like some knowledge, like up to what level you people understand the things. Okay, so the thing is, we have the atmosphere. So atmosphere is related to the air. Lithosphere, litho means rock. So whenever we have the surface or a rock surface, then this will come under the lithosphere. Hydro means water, right? The region where we do have the water. And whenever we will have the intersection of these three things, atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere, we will have the biosphere. So this is the area, or this is the region where animals or even any kind of biodiversity can exist. Okay, so okay, I think that is the enough explanation. I should go to the next question. Okay, the next question is about the hazard, and the question is which of the following best describes a hazard? And options are a guaranteed harmful outcome, a situation that always result in exposure, a condition or agent with the potential to cause harm, and D is the amount of a toxic substance ingested. Ashish gave me C answer. Pradeep also gave me C answer. Mahima C. Katawa C. If I'm giving the wrong pronunciation of your name, you can tell me anytime. I will try to correct myself. Jamari C. Okay. Okay. So everyone is giving me the C answer. Yes, I will also stick with the answer C. So this is a condition or agent with the potential to cause harm. So I just want to give you the example of sulfuric acid. Okay. So sulfuric acid is, you can say, a chemical that has the potential to cause the harm, but either we are near to the sulfuric acid or not, that is the different thing. Okay. So hazard is, or any condition it can, if we have the drought condition, or if we have the flood condition even, so that also have the potential to cause harm. So a lot of example we can categorize into hazard. And so okay, so my question is, if any chemical, we are consider that chemical as a hazardous chemical, so what characteristic feature should we have to that chemical? This is again the question that has been asked in like net exam or some other competitive. If one chemical is known as hazardous chemical, then what kind of characteristic feature we should have of that chemical so that we can consider that chemical as a hazardous substance? Can you tell me something?
Maybe corrosivity, toxicity.
Yes. So you talked about corrosivity and toxicity. Two more I'm just expecting. So we have four characteristic feature. Based on that, like we consider something, you're right, like if something is corrosive in nature or something is toxic in nature, then we will consider that hazardous. What else, like what other chemical we can consider into hazardous substance? um, Yes, very high pH or very low pH. So that very high pH or low pH will come under this corrosivity only. So whenever you have a pH less than 2, or you have pH more than 12.5, then we will consider that as a hazardous. So that pH based things will come under corrosivity. And then we have the toxicity. One is I. There is a one thing like, so we need to remember this using ICRT. Now, can you think about this? Yes, inflammable,
Reactivity.
Radioactivity.
radioactivity.
Reactivity.
Okay, so let me show you. Okay, first, before that, you just need to understand that yes, we already have talked about this. Anything that can cause the harm, that will come under hazard. But like how much exposure we have to the hazardous material. For example, we have the sulfuric acid. If we do not have the exposure, if we are not going to the laboratory, then risk for us will be very low. But the person who is going to the laboratory and who is dealing with the H2SO4 will have the higher risk. So whenever we will add hazard plus exposure, not plus, but there is a like we have hazard, we have exposure, and based on that we can tell either we do have the risky situation or not. And even vulnerability. So for example, if we are strong enough or our immunity is higher, or if we are living near to the coastal area or not, so this will again come under the vulnerability. So whenever we are talking about the risk, we have to take into consider hazard, exposure, and vulnerability. And coming to we were talking about, okay, so this is the next question. Now I think you can guess about what I was asking. So which of the following characteristics are commonly used to classify a waste as hazardous due to its potential threat to public health or the environment? So we have four options: radioactivity, density, solubility, and toxicity. Then ignitability, reactivity, corrosivity, and toxicity. And likewise, we have two more options. Okay, so now everyone is giving me B answer. Should I stick to the B answer? Okay, so yes, answer is B. And just let me show you. So whenever a substance is like at a very normal temperature, if that substance is inflammable, can catch the fire, then we can also consider that as the hazardous material. Then corrosivity based on the pH, as I told you, toxicity, and then reactivity. So based on this, we can consider whether our substance is hazardous or not. I do have some explanation also for this. So ignitable chemical generally are liquid and where the flash point between 60 degrees Celsius. Okay, corrosivity we already have talked. pH less than 2 and more than 12.5. Reactive chemicals ignite or create poisonous vapor. So you must have heard about the Bhopal tragedy. Can you tell me the gas that was responsible for this Bhopal gas tragedy? It was very reactive gas.
Methyl isocyanate.
Methyl
Isocyanate.
isocyanate. Yes. So it was MIC, right? Yes. Okay, and the toxic chemical, and it may cause long-term illness. We will talk about the toxicity in the later slides. Okay, going to let me remove this. Okay, coming to the next question. Which of the following is not typically considered a strategy for reducing pollution generation at the source? And we have four options: raw material treatment, advanced processes, end of pipe pollution control system, and alternative resources. Whenever we want to reduce the pollution at the source only, so you have to tell me which is not the correct strategy that I gave you in the option. I got D answer, alternative resources.
I think it's C.
Ashish gave me C. Aishwarya C. Pradeep also told me C. Katua C. Okay, because most of the people has given me answer C, then yes, I will go with C answer only. But I want to explain this. So, for example, we have uh, let's say we have petrol, okay, and whenever we are extracting that petrol using like from a mine or something else, so we may have some contaminants into that, right? So what we can do is, before using it, we can clean that petrol. Likewise, if we do have the coal, we can clean that coal. We have a lot of sulfur in that coal, in the form of FES, um, in the form of FES in the coal. So if we are washing that coal with the even water only, we can remove such kind of contaminant from that, and this will prevent us to have sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere. So this case will come under this raw material treatment. So whatever we have raw material, before using that, we can clean that and we can modify that. Okay, so this will come under a raw material treatment. The second is advanced process. So for example, if we are changing the engine type, or firstly we have like a four stroke engine, or we are advancing with different type of engines, so that whatever pollution we may have after that combustion of our fuel in the vehicle, that can be reduced. Okay, so what we are doing, we are just improving our machinery, improving the technology, so that we can have less pollution out in the atmosphere. So this will come under the advanced process. Alternative resources. So for example, we are not taking let's say petrol or diesel, but we are opting for let's say methane or natural gas. Okay, and because you know that if we are using that natural gas or methane or ethanol, then this will give you, most of the time this will give you the CO2 as a product of the combustion, but not give you SOx, that is a sulfur dioxide, NOx. It will not give you. So what we are doing is, whatever resources we have, we are just changing that resources so that we can have less pollution. Okay, but here this end of pipe pollution control system, this is whenever we do have the combustion, whenever pollution has been released, then we have some instrument. Based on that instrument, we can absorb that, we can control the pollution. But this is not at the source, this is after, let's say, combustion. So that's why C is the right answer, and A, B and D are the strategy to reduce pollution at the source only. So I think this is clear. Okay, so going to the next. So, which of the following best represents a comprehensive approach to waste treatment and resource recovery in environmental management? Only disposing of waste in landfill and incinerator, focusing solely on reducing water consumption, integrating air purification, water and solid waste treatment, hazardous waste management, and environmental assessment, and using advanced packaging to reduce product weight. If we want to have environment management in the form of, like, we are treating the waste, or like we are recovering the energy out of the waste, so what kind of approach should we follow? Okay, everyone is giving me C answer. Then yes, C answer will be right. And why this is, only disposing of waste in landfill. Landfill is not exactly the solution. This is just like that. We can't do anything with the waste. Then only we are going for this landfill. Incinerator can give you energy recovery, but again, this is not only the option, we have a lot of option that we should follow. Then focus solely on reducing water consumption, no, along with that we do have a lot of approaches, and in the C option we do have a lot of approaches. Based on that, uh, we can do the waste treatment, and even we can recover the resource. And D is obviously is a very foolish option, then C will be your right answer. Okay, the next question is, which of the following approaches or approach is primarily aimed at reducing pollution at the source in fossil fuel based energy production? And we have four options: building more landfill for waste containment, feedstock cleaning and process design modification, using diesel generators for backup power, and D is transporting heavy crude over long distance. I have two answers, that is B, but I'm expecting more answer. Okay, so again, this is something like that. If we are using fossil fuel, petrol, diesel, anything in, let's say, vehicle, and how we can reduce the pollution at the source only. So before releasing it, before combustion, how we can reduce it. So as I told you, cleaning is one of the method, right? And even like we can have some modification in the process, or some modification in the design of, let's say, engine. So that's how B is the right answer. This is again very similar question, but little trickier. Which of the following is considered a cleaner technique for energy production from fossil fuel that result in lower emission? Direct combustion of coal, delayed coking and flaring, oxy-fuel combustion and chemical looping, and open pit coal mining. It may be that you haven't heard this terminology, but people are giving me right answers somehow, and I'm impressed. Yes, so you are thinking that it's C, but definitely the answer is C. Okay, so just let me know you that oxy-fuel combustion is nothing but in spite of air. So just thing is that we have, let's say, petrol, and we are having the air. Okay, petrol plus air, this so this process, whenever we are heating it in air, so this is something combustion we are talking about, right? And then this will give you CO2, SOx, or NOx, something like that. But here what we are doing is we are not taking the air for the combustion, but we are taking just the oxygen. And if we are taking just the oxygen, because in the atmosphere we have the nitrogen as well, nitrogen will react with your fossil fuel, that can give you some pollution. But if we just have that oxygen in spite of nitrogen, in spite of anything else that we have in the atmosphere for the combustion, then the process will come under oxy fuel combustion. So here we are not taking the air, but we are taking only oxygen in the presence of oxygen. So this is oxy-fuel combustion, and this is how we can reduce a lot of pollution. And one is the chemical looping. So what we can do here is that we can have oxygen, we can make the reaction of oxygen with the metal, let's say. So this will make the metal oxide, and then we are having the reaction of this metal oxide with the fuel. This is how we can again reduce the pollution. So answer C will be the right one. I'm not going deeper into that, but again, we do have a lot of new techniques that we can have. So based on that, we can reduce the pollution. For example, gasification. So in spite of, let's say, fuel, we are changing that fuel into carbon, let's say only, or CO, carbon monoxide, and then we are doing the combustion. So this is something gasification. So you are changing your fuel to first gas, and then you are having combustion of this gas. So this is something gasification. This is oxy fuel combustion. Then chemical looping, and then direct liquefaction. A lot of technology we have, and you can read about this. Now coming to the next question, very simple question. Which of the following is a source of renewable energy? Coal, solar energy, petroleum, natural gas. So Soumyajit gave me B answer, Ashish B, Damri B. Okay, yeah, yes, obviously. So, but the thing is, how we can consider one energy renewable or another energy non-renewable. So we have a proper definition for this, and this definition is that renewable energy is the energy derived from natural sources that are replenished at higher rate than they are consumed. So for example, sunlight, wind, these are the example of the renewable energy. And non-renewable, for example, coal, oil, gas, so it take a lot of, like, a many year to form, and that's how we are just making the depletion of such kind of fuels. So this will come under non-renewable. Okay, I think the first chapter is completed. Let me see. Okay, this is again very simple and philosophical answer. Even so, which of the following best describe the concept of energy conservation? Increasing the supply of fossil fuel to meet demand, decreasing energy use by stopping all energy services, reducing energy consumption through efficient system and reduce demand, only using electricity during the night. Very simple question, I think. What do you think? What should be the answer for this? Okay, so here again the answer is, as you people already have given me, answer is C. So reducing energy consumption through efficient system and reduce demand. Here what you can do is, like, whenever we are talking about the energy conservation, then we must have the efficient system. For example, initially we were using very ordinary bulb, but later on we started to use a CFL or LED bulb. So this is nothing but we are just improving the process, uh, mm, uh, process of that conversion of this electricity to, let's say, light. Okay, so this is how we can improve the efficiency. Then and uh, first we do have the efficient system, and in that efficient system we should use renewable energy, and based on the regulation, guidelines and practices we have, we should follow accordingly. Then only we will tell that, okay, so we what we are doing is the energy conservation. Okay, yes, we were talking about bulb only. So, from the perspective of energy conservation, which type of bulb consumes the least amount of energy while producing the same brightness? So, we have ordinary, then we have talked about CFL, then LED, and that all consume the same amount of energy. Okay, people are giving me C answer. Okay, Pinak, you are here. Hello. Yes. So answer is C. That is a light emitting diode bulb, and we have here some explanation. So initially we had such kind of bulb, then we moved to CFL, and then we moved to LED. And then based on the efficiency low for this, and you can read about like the principle of CFL, LAD and ordinary bulb. That would be interesting for you people. Okay, because we are touching each topic very like each topic, that's how we have a lot of question from different background. So now the question is, order of municipal wastewater treatment is. So we have pre-treatment, primary, secondary and advanced, and likewise we have some shuffling in A, B, C, D. So you can tell me, Pinak, you told me why there are two session. I was attending the another one. Content is same or different? Okay. The thing is, because as I told you, we people are like research scholar, and we do have a fellowship, that is PMRF fellowship. Based on that, we have to take this live session, and it may be that that TA also opted the same course as the course that I opted. And talking about the course content, then some of the syllabus may be same, but some may be differ, because some of the question we are making by ourselves. So I will suggest you that, like, any of the like session you can attend. I don't think that there should be any problem. Okay, so we were asking about the answers. Order of municipal wastewater treatment. So everyone is giving me A answer. So pre-treatment, primary treatment, secondary, and I think from terminology only, pre means before, then primary, then secondary, and then advanced. Yes, the order should be like this only. So we have pre-treatment, primary, secondary, and advanced. Let me show you that if we have the sewage water, or the water that has been wasted from our, let's say, household, then how this will be treated. So there you must have seen such kind of system or design in your city. So this is nothing but this is sewage treatment plant. And here what we do is, first we have the pre-treatment. So in pre-treatment, what we do, we may have like plastic, polythene in the water. We may have coarse stone in the water. So what we have to do is we have to remove that first, so that whatever machinery we have further, that should not be destructed, right? So this is the pre-treatment. So in this we will have the screening or grit removal. Then we will let that water to go to the primary treatment. And in this primary treatment, what we will do, we will just uh, make still the water, so that some of the sedimentation will be go down on the bottom, so that we can remove this. Okay, so this is the primary treatment. So this is also known as the physical process. Okay, then what we will have, then whatever water we will have, that will go for the secondary treatment. And in that secondary treatment, we will have microorganism, and based on that microorganism, we can reduce a lot of like BOD, if you have heard about BOD, or a lot of a lot of contaminants that we have, that we can remove using microorganisms. So this will come under the secondary treatment. And then we may have some nutrient that are left in the water. So for example, phosphorus or nitrogen or any kind of nutrient we may still have in the water. So we will use disinfectant or different techniques. We have chlorination, and based on that, so this is kind of advanced treatment. So this is how the treatment proceed from pre-treatment to primary to secondary to tertiary. So the first this primary treatment is physical, the secondary treatment is mostly chemical, and secondary treatment is mostly based on organism. So this is biological, and the third is chemical. So even that like if the question is like that, primary treatment, so primary treatment is nothing but the physical processes we are talking about. If we are having the engagement of organism with the water, then this will come under the secondary treatment. And if we are using some chemicals, so this will come under the tertiary treatment. So likewise, answer should be in that order only. Okay, as I told you, one of the terminology is BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. And if we are removing 85% of BOD, so at which stage 85% of the BOD can be removed? So we have pre-treatment, primary treatment, secondary treatment, or advanced treatment. 85% of BOD. Have you heard about this terminology before, BOD? Should I explain to you, or you can give me the answer accordingly? Somyajit told me secondary, I think. Okay, I will not speak before, like I'm just expecting more answers. Okay, so first you have to understand. Okay, Pradeep, the answer should be secondary treatment. So answer should be C. Let me tell you how. So first you have to understand BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. So this is something, if we do have organic compound in the water, if we do have organic compound in the water, this organic compound can be removed using microorganism, right? So what microorganism will do? Microorganism will take oxygen, and using oxygen, that will reduce this, or that would oxidize this organic compound into, let's say, CO2 or water, something like that. So how much oxygen we need, how much oxygen the microorganism need to oxidize this organic compound to CO2 and H2O. So this is something BOD. Whenever we will have more organic compound in the water, then the BOD level will be very high. It means we need a lot of oxygen to degrade that organic compound into simpler substances. Okay, and 85% of the BOD can be removed in secondary treatment. So I think the concept of BOD is clear. So how much oxygen an organism needs to degrade or to break down this organic compound into the simpler compounds, right? So this is something, the concept of BOD, and 85 we can remove using secondary treatment. Using primary treatment, the efficiency of BOD removal is very low because this is physical process and it is near to 85%, and then in advanced it is more than 90% then, because 85 already has been removed. So C is the right answer, that is the secondary treatment. I have here some explanation. So primary treatment remove about 35% of BOD, secondary treatment remove near to 85% of BOD, advanced treatment will remove 95 or more than that. Okay. And if we are talking about the pre-treatment, then this is not removing your BOD level. Okay, there is a one mission in India, and that has been launched in 2010, and that mission was India's National Action Plan on Climate Change, and we do have 8 mission under this. So you have to tell me which one is not the right one. So we have National Solar Mission, National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, National Electric Mobility Mission, and National Mission for a Green India. Okay, so what do you think, Samyajit? What should be the answer? Pradeep gave me D. Ashish gave me A. Okay, I think you people must not have heard about this India's National Action Plan on Climate. Let me tell you. Yes, this is C. So let me show you. So this has been launched in 2010, and we had 8 national mission, and these were like this only. We do have the solar related mission, then energy efficiency, sustainable habitat, water mission, then we have sustaining the Himalayan ecosystem, for a green India, sustainable agriculture, and National Knowledge Mission on Climate Change. So these were the core 8 mission that has been adopted under NAPCC. And if we are talking about the National Electric Mobility Mission, so this is a very separate initiative, and that has been taken in 2013. Okay, and this is not the part of 8 NAPCC mission. You must know about this NAPCC, because, and how much target we had already for this solar mission, what target we already have achieved, what target we have we are left to. So such kind of information I think you should have. Okay, very basic question. Full form of CPCB is? Central Pollution Control Board, Central Power Control Board, Climate Pollution Control Board, Central Climate Board. Okay, yes. So answer is Central Pollution Control Board. I think you have heard about the AQI, that the Air Pollution Index, and AQI, Air Quality Index, sorry, and like how much AQI you have in your city. So such kind of things has been published or has been established only by one organization, and that organization is Central Pollution Control Board. Central Pollution Control Board have some recruitment also for scientists, or like you can look the website, because CPCP is recruiting a lot of fresh mind or brilliant mind student for the like different positions. So you can just explore that CPCB and different rules, regulations, how what should be the methodology to test how much pollution we have in the atmosphere, how much station we have in India. So such kind of information you can have from the Central Pollution Control Board. Okay, so we have one, you can say, conference or convention that has happened in 1987, and this is Montreal Protocol. Okay, so what was the primary focus of the Montreal Protocol? And we have four options: reducing carbon dioxide emission, and phasing out substance that deplete the ozone layer, preventing deforestation in tropical areas, managing transboundary water pollution. Somyajit told me then is the SPCB functioning under the CPCB? Yes, you can say. Uh, like some of the rules regulation that SPCB has to follow of the rules that has been established by CPCB, but yes, some of the rule is according to different state and different ecosystem in that state we have. So you can say like CPCB is controlling the SPCB. Okay, Pradeep gave me B answer. Tamri also gave me B answer. Soumyajit, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so we were talking about Montreal Protocol. So what was the main focus of Montreal Protocol? And it is to phase out substance that deplete the ozone layer. So once upon a time, the ozone has been depleted to the lowest value, and we just need to recover that ozone layer that we have in the stratosphere. And for this, there were some substances that were responsible for ozone layer depletion. For example, CFCs, chlorofluorocarbon. And this was the conference or convention, you can say, Montreal Protocol, that happened in 1987, and based on that, it has been decided that wherever we are using that CFCs, for example, we are using in refrigerator or ACs, we have to phase out such kind of substance so that we can save the ozone layer. So this happened in Montreal Protocol 1987. Okay, the another is Kyoto Protocol. So Kyoto Protocol is associated with what? Protecting endangered species, reducing emission of greenhouse gas by developed countries, limiting plastic production and waste, establishing marine protected areas. Pradeep, B, I think you should be sure. Yes, answer will be B only. Okay, so Venkateva, Shiva Krishna also gave me B answer. Yes, I'm also sticking with the B answer only. So in the Kyoto Protocol, a lot of mechanism has been put forward. Based on that mechanism, we can reduce the greenhouse gases. Have you heard about CDM, Clean Development Mechanism, or carbon crediting, carbon credit? So a lot of mechanism were put forward. Based on that, we can reduce this greenhouse gases, and mostly by the developed country, because it is said that whatever greenhouse gases we have already in the atmosphere, this is because of the development that has been happened in the developing country 100 years ago, right? So we need to develop right now because we are the developing countries. So in Kyoto Protocol, that happened in 1997, it was decided that developing country have to give some money, 100 billion or something, to the developing or underdeveloped countries, so that these country can also reduce the greenhouse gas. Along with that, a developed country has to reduce CO2 by different mechanism. Either they can sell or buy the carbon credit, or a lot of mechanism we have in Kyoto Protocol that you can explore further. But the thing is, in Kyoto Protocol, it has been decided that developing countries are responsible for the greenhouse emission, and that's how there is a like more responsibility has been given to the developed country to reduce this greenhouse gases. Okay, so there is a very famous line that we have to limit the global warming rise to below 2 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, we will have the irreversible change, right? And that thing has happened in COP, that is the Conference of Party 21 conference. But the question is, which agreement was that? Kyoto Protocol, Copenhagen Accord, Paris Agreement, or the Durban Platform? Soumya and Pradeep gave me C answer. Yes, so this was the Paris Agreement. Based on that, we pledged that we need to limit our global temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, there will be irreversible change. Okay, the next question is, uh, some amendment has been happened in the Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol was related to the ozone layer, right? And that amendment led to phase out hydrofluorocarbon as well. So what was that amendment? Someone giving me C answer, then changing to B, and then Ashish gave me B, and then again B. Yes. So the answer is Kigali again amendment. Okay, so I think we are little late, but okay. So we have touched a lot of topic that will come under the introduction. Then we are moving to the chapter 2. This is related to the ecology, environment, and biodiversity. And let's move to this chapter. So we will have some MCQs on this chapter. Very basic question. What is the primary focus on ecology? And we have 4 options: the classification of plants and animals, the physical structure of individual organism, the interrelationships between organism and their environment, and D is the evolution of species over time. So what do you think? What should be the answer for this? Okay, people are already giving me C answer. The interrelationship between organism and environment. Yes, I'm also sticking with this answer only. And let me show you something. Okay, so ecology is study. Okay, so for example, you have physics, you have chemistry. So you are, if you are studying about let's say about the earth, then this will be the geography. But ecology is again one of the subject, or again one of the study. And that studies, first you have to understand 2 component. The one is biotic component, and another is the abiotic component. Okay, so sorry. So biotic component is organism. Let's say we have abiotic component. For example, we have air, we have sunlight, we have earth surface. So whenever these are interacting, so our abiotic component are interacting with the biotic component, and then what will happen, then how this is happening. So whatever the interrelationship between these two, biotic and abiotic, this will come under the study, and that study is known as the ecology, right? So here we can see we have the abiotic environment, atmosphere, soil, weather, climate, and how these abiotic component will interact with the biological or biotic component, for example, plant, animal, microorganism. Then we are studying about this relationship. This will be known as the ecology, right? And there is the one term ecosystem, right? But before that, I have one question. Which of the following correctly list the level of ecological organization from the simplest to the most complex? And here we have the biosphere to biome to ecosystem to community to population to species, and likewise we have the four option. You have to tell me the right one. Simplest to the most complex. Okay, Somajit gave me answer B, Demri B, Ashish B. Okay. Okay, so yes, I'm also sticking with the answer B, and let me show you how. So, for example, in our body we have cell, right? Cell, then we have we do have a lot of okay, uh, Priscilla, should I pronounce it like that? Priscilla. Oh, anyway, so we have multiple cell, thousand lakhs of cell in our body. Then that cell will assemble to form organ. That organ, we have a lot of organ. Then we will have the organism, right? So, for example, we are Homo sapien, we are human, and this will come under the so if I'm talking about just one individual Homo sapien, then this will come under the individual, right? But if we have thousand or multiple of Homo sapien or human, that will be known as the population. But just see that I'm just talking about the Homo sapien, not other species, not other animal, not other plants, right? So if we have multiple individual of the same species, that will come under the population. Then we will have the multi. So for example, we have in India how much population we have of the humans. So this is something population, right? But if we have like one species is Homo sapien, let's say the another is buffalo, or let's say cow, so different population if we are having at some place, so this will come under the community. So more than one population will comprise of the community. And till here we just talking about the biotic component, just organism. But if there will be any interaction with the abiotic component or the environment, then this will be known as the ecosystem. And then for a larger area, if we will have the same, let's say, climate, and we have a community, then this will come under the biome and then the biosphere. So this is the hierarchy from simplest to the complex one. Okay, so based on that, the answer was population, then community, then after that community we have ecosystem, biome, biosphere. Likewise we have the uh, hierarchy. Okay, because right now I already have explained what do you mean by community, what do you mean by species, what do you mean by ecosystem. So can you match the correct? So the first is the collection of organisms that live in a place with the non-living environment. The second is group of similar organisms that can breed and produce fertile offspring. And third is an assemblage of different populations that live together. Okay, I'm having B answer from three of the student. Then yes. So the community is, so first we have to start with the a species. So we have some individuals, and individual of the same species will come under species, right? Then then if we will have the multiple species, that will come under community. But if we are just have some interaction of this community or species with the environment, that will come under the ecosystem. So this is how I think you can see, and this I already have explained. Very simple question. Which of the following is a biotic component of ecosystem? Air, water, soil, animal. Biotic means living organism, right? So I don't think that I should waste much time on this. The answer will be yes, B. Sorry, D. Okay, so because we have talked about the ecology, so ecology is the study where we study the interaction of biotic to the abiotic component, but ecosystem is a system that include biotic and abiotic, right? I don't think this should. Okay, which of the following statement best describe the flow of energy through a ecosystem? So whenever we are transferring the energy from one organism to the different organism, so can you characterize the flow of the energy? So it is circular in loop, it is recycled, or it just flow in one direction, or it just accumulate in top predator and reused by the decomposer? So what do you think, what should be the right answer for this? Pradeep gave me A answer, that is, it is circular. No, actually, energy doesn't flow in a circular loop, and it just flow in the one direction. And why I'm talking that like this only, because if you people know the 10% rule, have you heard about the 10% rule? So the 10% rule is, for example, we have the plants, and whatever energy we are having from the plants to the human, 90% of the energy will be wasted as a heat. Only 10% of the energy we will get. So let's say plants are the producer. Okay, so producer to, let's say deer is eating that plant, so deer is just getting 10% of that energy. Let's say deer has been eaten up by tiger, so tiger will get 10% of the energy that deer has. So what I'm trying to say, that after 3 4 step, energy is very low, that all of the energy will be uh, lost in the form of heat. Okay, so this is how the energy will flow only in one direction, from producer to various level of consumer. It is not cyclic, right? If we are talking about the cycle, then these are the biogeochemicals. If you have heard, we are talking about the carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus. There is a circular loop, right? But if we are talking about the energy, this is just it flows in one direction. So I think, so this is how C answer should be the right one. Okay, just see here. So sun give the energy to the plant just 1%. 1%. Then after that we have the 10% rule. Then plant to consumer we will have the 10%. Then primary consumer to secondary consumer we will have again next 10% of the energy, and this is how the energy will be lost in the form of heat. Yes, here you can see just 1% energy to the plants. 10% means initially we had 10,000 joule, then it will be just 1,000. After that we will have 100 joule, after that we will have 10 joule only. So this is how energy will transfer or will flow from one trophic level to another trophic level. Okay, so if we are talking about the ecosystem, so just you need to understand ecosystem is nothing but a system where we have environment and where we have the biotic. Biotic means animal, plant, microorganism. So we have biotic component and we have the abiotic component, and that system will be known as the ecosystem. Okay, so which of the ecosystem will be considered stable, biodiverse, or and even capable of withstanding external stress like pollution or construction? So options are urban pond ecosystem, trophic rainforest ecosystem, agricultural field ecosystem, polluted lake ecosystem. So Priscilla asked me, ma'am, can we get recording of this session? Yes, you will get. I think I will upload it tomorrow. Tomorrow you can get it. Should I? Let me mute. Okay, so what do you think? Which ecosystem is very stable and why? So yes, I'm agree with you that B is the right answer. That the tropical rainforest ecosystem is highly stable. But why it is highly stable? Can you answer me for that? The ecosystem will be very stable when we do have a lot of biodiversity in that area. Whenever we will have just one species, or let's say two species, then that system will not be that much stable. And if we are talking about the tropical rainforest, then that system is highly biodiverse, and because of that this system is giving you the stability. Another thing that I can explain you is that, so for example, we have deer, right? And we have lion. If we do not have deer or and we have tiger, let's say, so if we do not have deer, then we must have some another options so that tiger can eat that animal, right? So if we do have multiple option, if we do have biodiversity, if we do have a lot of option, that will reduce the disturbance in the system, right? This is how it will make the system very stable. So whenever we will have more diversity or biodiversity, then the system will be stable. If we are talking about the urban pond ecosystem, in urban pond ecosystem we just have some fishes, right? uh, but and in agriculture we have just one species of, let's say, wheat or rice. Then polluted lake, we are just disturbing that. Then the answer is just the tropical rainforest ecosystem, that is very stable. Okay, so here you can understand, if there are like four type of or four species only, then that system will be very disturbing, because if that person or that animal is not here, then the whole chain will be disturbed. But if we have a lot of option, then system will be very stable. Okay, a little bit about the ecology. What does the process of ecological succession typically illustrate in a natural system? And we have four options: a constant state of balance without any change, rapid extinction of species due to predator, gradual transformation of an ecosystem over time, collapse of food webs due to loss of sunlight. So, what do you think? What should be the answer of this? Somyajit gave me answer C. Yes. So answer is C. So if we are talking about any of the ecosystem, for example, if we are talking about lakes, right? If we are talking about lakes, so initially the water was so pure, water had no nutrient, but after that we may have some plants in that. Then what will happen? If we will have the plant, this plant will have the leaf, or that leaf may be sediment here at the bottom. It means the initially the lake was nutrientless, and now the lake may have some nutrient. If the lake may have nutrient, some other type of things may present there, and after that the sediment layer will increase, right? And after that what will happen? It may change into the forest. Okay, so this is something. Initially we started with any river or any water body, and not river, any water body, and gradually that water body can be transferred into or can be changed into any forest, right? Because there will be some processes, but that will take thousands of years. So that's why this is the gradual transformation of ecosystem over time. But the thing is, if we are putting fertilizer, if we are putting some nutrients into river body or into water body, then what will happen? That slow transformation will change into the rapid transformation. So if you have seen in your city that initially it was lake, but after that that lake has been converted into some muddy body, and then after that muddy body some plants has been grown up in that muddy, and then it has been transformed into some land. So this is the transformation, but transformation is getting very rapid because of the human interference, because we are putting nutrients into that in the form of fertilizer or in the form of any, even if we are putting that sewage water into that water body, then sewage water has a lot of organic compound, right? And this is how what we are doing, we are just making that transformation at a very high pace. But if we are talking about the process of ecological succession, so succession is from one stage to another stage. So this process is very natural, but this will take thousands of years. But because of human, it is getting rapid change. I do have maybe some slide. So here you can see. Initially, we had the bare rock. Then bare rock may have lichens on that rock. Then we may have then some plants, then we there may be some grasses, after that there may be some shrubs and trees, and then that will be changed into the forest. So this is something succession, primary succession, and this is land succession. This will be changed, like if we are talking about the water succession, that would be very different. So for example, you can see here, initially we had a nutrient deficient water body. After that we will have some submerged plant, then we have some floating plant, then some emergent plant, then fringing shrubs, and that will change into the woodland. So this is the succession, gradual succession, very slow. Okay, but if we are putting something into that, we are changing the pace of this transformation. Okay, which of the following component is responsible for photosynthesis? Soumya told me that there will be eutrophication instead. Yes, so eutrophication is nothing but human-induced succession. Yes. So Soumya Shushmita gave me answer B. Yes. So chlorophyll is responsible for the photosynthesis. And if we are talking about different pigments, for example, chlorophyll, carotene, anthocyanins, and different pigment have different type of responsibilities, and the chlorophyll have the responsibility for the photosynthesis. Okay, so because we talked about the ecosystem, right? We have talked about the introduction. We have a lot of time right now, but anyway, it may be your dinner time also, so you can have dinner along with that. But yes, we are moving to now chapter 3 and 4 are like very related to each other, because we will talk about three terminology mainly: bioconcentration, bioaccumulation, and biomagnification. And mostly the tutorial is based on bioconcentration. And then fourth chapter will also have some risk related, so hazard and exposure. So we will try to cover that also. So I think we are on time or 20 minutes late. But anyway, so right now we will talk about ecosystem service and risk. And in that risk, we will talk about bioconcentration, bioaccumulation, and biomagnification. And some of the risk due to transmission of disease. So again, we have some MCQs. Okay, so because we are talking about the ecosystem service, So which of the following is an example of a regulating ecosystem service? So we have four options: nutrient recycling, cultural heritage value of a sacred grove, flood control, provision of medicinal plants. So because you know that ecosystem, so forest is one of the ecosystem, like and that ecosystem, that forest can give you a lot of services. But right now what I'm asking is the example of the regulating ecosystem service that will regulate something, the service that will regulate something. So can you tell me about the regulating? Somyajit gave me answer A, but I'm little afraid that it can be wrong. Okay, then I got answer C and then B. Okay, so we have variability in right now the answer, but I will go with the answer C. And let me just show you that, just taking the example of forest, okay, that forest can give you a lot of services. The first service is provisioning service. So provisioning means it is giving you the product. So for example, it is giving you the food or it is giving you the timber. So this will come under the provisioning service of the ecosystem. If it is a regulating, means that regulate our environment. So for example, it is doing the water purification, so this is something regulating. Then it also provides us the cultural service. For example, our eyes are like very interested to see that ecosystem, because that will give us the relief, that will give us like we are very interested to watch that forest, and like this is very aesthetic in nature for us, right? So this is how, this is non material benefit provided by the nature, which enrich lives such as recreation, learning and tranquility, right? So this will come under the cultural. And if we are talking about the sporting, then this will be, that will support some other services. For example, forest will do the soil formation or the nutrient recycling, but this is just the spotting service, right? So this is how we can classify our ecosystem service into four categories: provisioning, regulating, cultural and sporting. And here the flood control is the example of regulating, because we are regulating our environment here. Here are some example. If we are talking about the provisioning, then food, water, medicinal plant, this will come under provisioning. Regulating, climate regulation, flood control, water purification. If we are talking about the cultural, then spiritual, because most of the babas will go to that forest and will have some spiritual activities, so this will come under the cultural. Recreational and cultural heritage. And spotting means nutrient recycling, soil formation, a lot of services that can be provided by the ecosystem. So this is how we can classify into four categories. Okay, now we are moving little bit about the risk, right? So in India, we do have risk for this arsenic and fluoride contamination. And you have to tell me where, in which part of India we do have higher risk for the arsenic, and in which part of India the higher risk is for the fluoride contamination. In one of the region we have highest problem of arsenic, and in another region we have highest problem of fluoride contamination in the water. So what do you think, what should be the answer? Prishila gave me answer C. Pradeep also gave me C. Katua, Archit, Soumya. Okay, everyone is giving me C answer. Then how can I change from C to any of the options? Then yes, I will go to C answer only. And I just want to show you some of the like map. So this is for the arsenic, and most of the arsenic is, and this is Indo Brahmaputra region, right? And this arsenic problem is very highest in West Bengal. In the groundwater of the West Bengal, we have higher concentration of arsenic. Okay, and if we are talking about the fluoride, then fluoride is mostly in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Haryana, and Hyderabad or AP. So these are the semi-arid region. So in semi-arid or arid region, we have the fluoride contamination. And if we are talking about the Ganga Brahmaputra region, then arsenic contamination will be higher. So based on that, sorry. So based on that, so the fluoride contamination will be in arid or semi-arid region, while arsenic contamination is common in Ganga Brahmaputra basin. So that's why C answer is the right one. Okay, now we are moving forward to the bioconcentration. So you have to tell me the correct definition of bioconcentration. So we have four things: the breakdown of pollutant by microorganism in soil, the process of pollutant being extracted by organism into the environment, the accumulation of a substance in an organism to a higher level than in the surrounding environment, and the dilution of pollutant in water bodies of water over time. Okay, so everyone is giving me answer C. Then yes, I will also go. So just see now, bio means we are talking about organism, and concentration. So if some chemical we have and some chemical is getting accumulated in the organism, then this will be the bioconcentration. So accumulation of substance in an organism to the higher level than in surrounding environment. So for example, if we have 10 ppm of arsenic in the environment or in the water, but in our body it may be that we have acquired 20 ppb or ppm. So it may be that we have higher concentration of arsenic in our body, and that we have taken from the environment only. So this is something concentrating the chemical or substance into the microorganism and then accumulating that. So this will come under bioconcentration. And just see here, it is through direct contact, for example water. And we people get very confused into two terminology, bioconcentration and bioaccumulation. So little bit differ. I think I have something, yes. So if we are talking about the bioconcentration, so this is the form of bioaccumulation. So accumulating something in the body, right, by absorption directly from water. So this will come under the bioconcentration. Bioaccumulation, this will come under occur within an organism where the concentration of the substance build up. Like it is very similar, but bioconcentration is the form of bioaccumulation. Just keep that in mind. And the another terminology is biomagnification. So biomagnification is, for example, uh, we are eating chicken, let's say. So chicken may have 10 ppm of something, but whenever we will eat that chicken, we will have, let's say, 20 ppm of something. So it means that whenever we are moving from chicken to human to something else, like from one trophic level to another trophic level, the concentration will increase. So this is something biomagnification. Okay, so here you can see biomagnification example. So initially we had the phytoplankton. This has been eaten up by the fishes. This has eaten up by the big fishes, and then by something like some animal has eaten up. So this is how this concentration has increased. from one organism to another organism who is eating that the previous organism. So this is something biomagnification. Bioaccumulation is fishes are living in the water. As they are drinking the water, or they are taking that water in the gills, then some of the chemical or contaminant will go into the body, and with the time it is increasing. So this is something bioaccumulation or bioconcentration. We are not talking about the trophic level. In the biomagnification, we talk about the trophic level, right? So here is the difference between these three. Okay, the next is there is a one factor that is known as the bioconcentration factor. So how we can calculate that? Dividing the chemical mass by organism body weight, concentration of chemical in organism divide by concentration of chemical in environment, concentration of water divide by concentration of chemical in organism, and total biomass of organism multiply by chemical volume in environment. Okay, so you people gave me B answer. So yes, I will also stick with B answer, that how much concentration we have organism divide by how much concentration of chemical that we have in the environment. So this will be known as the bioconcentration factor. And we have some numerical question also on this. If time will permit, then we will solve that. Okay, so here just I took the slide from sir's slide only. So this BCF is equal to the concentration of that chemical in my organism upon in environment, and bioconcentration is the process that result in an organism having higher concentration of substance than is it in surrounding environment or media such as stream water. And based on that BCF, we can classify which one is highly potential, or which one is moderate, and which one is low, right? Okay, so there is a one coefficient, very important coefficient, and that coefficient is octanol water partition coefficient. And you have to tell me the correct statement about this KOW. And we have for statement, it is the ratio of chemical concentration is in water to that in soil. It determines the evaporation rate of a chemical. It is the ratio of chemical concentration in octanol to its concentration in water, and it is a measure of chemical acidity in water. Okay, so what do you think? What do you mean by this octanol water partition coefficient, and why I'm telling that this is very important coefficient in the term of bioconcentration? Okay, so everyone gave me answer C. Okay, and I will also go with C answer, and let me show you how. So for example, you have water. So this is water, okay, and this is your octanol, and you know that water is polar in nature. Octanol is polar in nature, sorry, water is polar in nature, and if we are talking about the octanol, then this is non-polar in nature. Okay, and whenever we are having some chemical in water and in octanol layer, so we have to see that chemical is like, we have to see the concentration of that chemical in water and in octanol solution. So and you just need to see if some chemical, if the chemical is polar. So just give me something. For example, if something is attracting to the water molecule, then the more of the molecule will come under this water. And if the molecule will be more attracted to the octanol, then most of the molecule will go to the this side. But just keep in this, if we have the water and if we have more molecule of chemical in the water, that means that molecule is hydrophilic, loving the water, right? And if the more chemical molecule is in octanol layer, it means that chemical, that analyte, is hydrophobic in nature, means not loving the water. And if you know that most of our fatty acid or organ where the chemical has been deposited, so these are mostly similar to the octanol. So what I'm saying, that our tissue, whatever the structure or the characteristics of our tissue organ we have in the human, that is very similar to the octanol. So if some chemical is found more in octanol layer rather than in water layer, it means that chemical have the higher bioconcentration efficiency, right? So based on that, what we can do is, we have a relation between BCF, that is the bioconcentration factor, and KOF. Okay, so whenever KOF, whenever we have more concentration of that chemical in octanol, then more bioconcentration factor we will have, and this we can define using this relationship. So we have numerical question on this equation as well. So log BCF is equal to 0.79 multiplied by the log of KOW minus 0.4. So based on that, you can, so this is the significance of this test. Whenever the value is higher, it means that chemical has the more efficiency to stick to the organism fatty acid or organism organ. It means that has the more bioconcentration factor. So this is just the one test to test it. Okay, so if we do have higher KOW, so more than, let's say, 100,000, 10,000, then what we can talk about that chemical? So, so it is highly soluble in water and low potential for bioconcentration. It is very hydrophobic and likely to accumulate in organism. It is rapidly broken down in the aquatic environment, and it is non-toxic to aquatic organism. What do you think? What should be the answer? Pradeep gave me answer B. Priscilla also gave me answer B. Shushmita B. Okay. Okay, so now everyone is giving me B answer. Then yes, B is the right answer. Whenever the KOW value is more than 10,000, it means it is hydrophobic, not attracting to the water, not loving the water, and it means it is likely to bioaccumulate in organism. Okay, which of the following does not influence the level of bioaccumulation of a substance in an organism? The rate and mode of uptake, the ability of the organism to metabolize or eliminate the organism, the hydrophobicity of the organism and lipid content of the organism, the molecular weight of oxygen in the environment. Which will not decide the accumulation of substance in an organism? Priscilla, Sushmita, Pradeep, Dhanushri, Avula, they people gave me D answer. Yes, I will go with D answer only. So, okay. Now, the question I have taken from that lecture only, and this is, we have one chemical, and that chemical is HCB, hexachlorobenzene. Okay, and the partition coefficient is given, and that is 2 lakh. And magnification factor is also given 7.5. So initially we have had the plankton to whenever this HCB will go from plankton to smelt to another organism, the magnification factor is 7.5. Then smelt to lake trout, then the magnification is 3.5. Okay. And if the concentration of HCB in water is 1 ppt, then you have to tell me whether fish will exceed the fish consumption standard. And this consumption standard are 5 ppm for general consumption and 1 ppm for pregnant and nursing woman. So just see, we have the partition coefficient, and we know the definition of partition coefficient. So the concentration of chemical in the octanol, or here, because it is in spite of octanol, we can have the plankton divide by uh, the concentration of that HCB in water. So this coefficient is given, that is 2 lakh. And then biomagnification from one trophic level to another is given. So now you have to tell me whether this will exceed the fish standard or not. So how we can solve this? Just see here. We already know that this partition coefficient, this is how much concentration we had in the octanol. So in place of this octanol, we can have the plankton, and how much concentration of that chemical we have in the water, and this has been given. Okay, so we can have the concentration of this HCB in plankton. How? When we will multiply this K to concentration of that chemical in the water, and the chemical in the water, the concentration is 1, and the coefficient value is 2 raised to power 2 multiplied by 10 raised to power 5. So this is given, right? So based on that, we have calculated the concentration of HCB in plankton. So this will be 0.2. Okay, there should be no doubt, because this is just the normal formula. Then because from plankton it will move to the smelt. Okay, so we are moving from one organism to the another. So this is biomagnification, right? And the biomagnification factor was 7.5. So in plankton, the concentration of HCB was zero point 0.2, but in the smelt it will be 7.5 multiplied by whatever concentration it was. Like, so based on that, the concentration in smelt will be 1.5. Then after that, again the biomagnification factor is given from smelt to trout, and that was 3.5. So we will multiply this 3.5 to the concentration of that chemical that was in smelt. So this was 1.5. So we will multiply that, and we will have the value 5.25 mg per kg. And this is more than this 5 ppm and the 1 ppm. Just again see this. Initially we had the partitioning coefficient based on and partitioning coefficient and the concentration of HCB in water. Based on that, we calculated the concentration of this chemical in plankton by a very simple formula. Then from plankton to smelton, we multiply it with 7.5, because magnification factor was 7.5. Then again we multiply by 3.5, because that was the magnification factor from smelt to trout. And this is how we calculated how much concentration of HCB we will have at the lake trout level, right? So this is how we can solve this using very simple ratio formula. Is it clear, or should I repeat it? Okay, Pradeep. Okay, so the thing is, because we were talking about the biomagnification. Biomagnification is, initially in organism we have the lower concentration, but in another organism, whenever we will eat that organism, we will have, let's say, higher concentration. So this is biomagnification, and this we can see in different disease that we have. For example, we have the malaria. In the mosquito, we may have some contaminant that is in lower concentration, but that if that malaria mosquito will infect the human, that concentration can increase. So this is how we can have the disease, and we can also have some emergency. So this is just, I just wanted to show you that there is a threat whenever there is the bioaccumulation. Okay. Okay, coming to, because right now we have covered biomagnification, bioconcentration, bioaccumulation, and the question related to that. Okay, and there was one coefficient, partitioning coefficient. Based on that, we have solved the question. Now the last chapter is related to the risk and risk analysis. And risk, because risk is not just related to the hazard, but whenever there is another terminology, that is the exposure. So whenever we will have hazard and exposure, then we will talk about the risk. Okay, and how we can calculate that exposure, how we can calculate the dose response. So based on that, we have a lot of numericals in this, but before that we have some MCQs. So let's go to that. Okay, very simple question. What is the difference between hazard and risk? Can you quickly give me the answer? We have 15 minutes. I will try to cover this. Pradeep gave me answer C, that hazard refer to the potential to cause harm, while risk refer to the probability and severity of that harm. Yes. So I will also go with this C answer. And okay, so if we have the hazard, so there is a one function how we can relate risk to the hazard. Okay, so based on that, it will be very clear. According to the risk assessment framework, risk is a function of hazard only, exposure only, hazard and exposure, toxicity and solubility. Okay, so everyone is giving me answer C, hazard and exposure. Yes. So just like the example I gave you, if we are sulfuric acid is hazardous in nature, but if we are not going to the laboratory, then risk will be very low until or unless we are going to that laboratory. So if we are exposing to that sulfuric acid, so risk will be more whenever there is a hazardous substance, and even the exposure is higher. So that's why risk is a function of hazard and as well as the exposure. So yes, C is the right answer. So just see here, we have some fish, and that fish may create some hazard to us. But if we are not going to the fish, then there will be no risk. But if we are going to the river, or if we are going to some ocean and that have the fish, it means we have exposure to the fish, then it will give you the risk. Okay, which of the following best describe risk analysis? Whenever we are doing the risk analysis, what do we do? So this is a method used to calculate environmental hazards, a process to eliminate all possible risk in a system, analytical process to estimate probabilities and consequences of identified risk, a tool used only after accident have occurred. Okay, so Pradeep and Katua gave me C answer. Yes. So whenever we are doing the risk analysis, then we are trying to find out the possibilities, the probabilities. For example, if we are having arsenic groundwater, then then we will do the risk analysis. So at what concentration this will give us the let's say the cancer, or at what level it will give us some consequences that will be bad for us, and like what should be our future strategy. So everything we will do in the risk analysis. So that's why C is the right answer. Okay, which of the following is or are the part of risk analysis? Hazard identification and risk assessment, risk management, risk communication, and all of the above. Tanushri gave me D answer, Khatwa D, Pradeep A. In risk analysis, we also do the risk management and communication. So based on that, D should be the right answer. It's all right, Pradeep. So just see here, in the risk analysis, we do risk assessment. So we here identify the hazard. Then we also do the risk communication. We exchange the information that may involve the risk, and we also manage the risk. So we also formulate some policy and some management decision we take on the risk. So this will everything will be the part of the risk analysis. And here I wanted to show you that these are different steps of risk analysis. So we have the hazard identification, then risk assessment, then risk management, and the risk communication. So this all will be the part of risk analysis. Okay, as I told you, we have the risk, and risk is the function of hazard and exposure. Okay, so which of the following situations would likely result in highest level of toxic exposure? And options we have: low intensity chemical with short contact time occurring rarely, moderate intensity chemical daily exposure for 1 year, highly intensity chemical with very brief one time contact, or minimal chemical contact once a month over a year. Some gave me C answer, one gave me B answer. Okay, so one person gave me C, but after that I'm getting B answer. And yes, I will go with B answer only. And if you know that exposure, this exposure can be calculated. So if we have the chemical, so what is the intensity of that chemical? How frequently we are getting that chemical? To what duration we are having that chemical? So based on that we can calculate the exposure, right? So we, if we have high intensity means high concentration in the environment, if we are taking it frequently and if we are taking it for the long time, then the exposure will be higher. If I'm going to this one, uh, then low intensity means because everything is getting multiplied, right? So if we have here moderate intensity daily exposure for 1 year, so means frequency is higher, duration is higher, intensity is moderate, right? So based on that, like out of this four question, B answer is most appropriate, right? Because exposure is defined as the intensity multiplied by frequency multiplied by duration. Okay, a worker is exposed to a chemical with an intensity of 5 unit 3 times per day for 10 days. What would be the total exposure? Very simple, based on that formula recently only I talked about. Okay, now everyone is giving me C answer. Then, yes. So 5 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 10, because the first is intensity. Then 3 times per day, this is frequency. And 10 days is the duration. So we will multiply this, and this is how we will get 150. That is C answer. Okay, if we want to reduce that exposure from 600 unit to 300 unit, and we want to remain that intensity and frequency constant, then what change must be made? Double the duration, half the duration, increase frequency, increase intensity. Pradeep, Khatua, Prinsila. Priscilla have the B and then question mark. Tanushree B. Okay, so yes, answer is B, that we have to have the, because there is the multiplication now. So if we are doubling that exposure, so if we want to reduce that exposure, then we have to divide the whole equation by 2. And if we are keeping intensity and frequency same, then the we have to half the duration. So okay. Okay, now we are moving to little advanced one. Which of the following would most effectively reduce an individual chronic daily intake CDI of a toxic chemical, assuming all other factors remain the same? So there is one terminology, that is the chronic daily intake. How much daily we are taking some chemical, and it is based on a lot of variable. For example, chemical concentration, based on how frequently we are taking, based on up to what duration we are taking, what is the weight of our body, and so based on a lot of factor we have to decide this CDI. So you have to tell me most effectively uh, how we can reduce this CDI. One gave me, okay, I'm getting D answer, and Rao gave me A answer. Okay, so I'm just going with D answer, and let me show you how. So if we are talking about the daily intake, so daily intake can be defined as CE, that is the exposure concentration. So just keep in mind, if it is the intake, then exposure concentration, frequency, duration, this will be in multiplication. Along with that, there would be the intake rate, how you are taking it. Okay, divide by body mass and average time. So here, if we want to reduce, so this is chemical concentration is directly proportional. So this is how we can't reduce, right? You have some question? You raised your hand. You can tell me. If we are increasing the duration, so this will again increase that CDI. If we are decreasing the body weight, because this is inversely proportional, then again we are increasing that. So this is just the wrong thing, right? So the three were wrong, then last one was the correct one based on this formula. You just need to see which of the factor is directly proportional and which of the factor is inversely proportional. Based on that, you can give me the answer how this intake will be reduced. Okay, so can you calculate the CDI when CE, that is the contaminant concentration, is given, that is 0.05 mg per liter, and drinks 2 liter per day. So this is something frequency of the exposure. Then we also have duration, that is the 350 days per year for 30 years. So this is something exposure is given duration. Then weight is also given for the person, and average time is also given. So now can you calculate the chronic daily intake based on this formula? So I know you do not have copy or pen, maybe, so I just give you the answer. So this is how you can calculate. You have all the values. You just need to put all those values according to the formula, and this is how you will get the answer. If you have any problem, you can let me know. You can even write me to the mail. My mail ID is jyoti21 iiserb.ac.in. I will write in the chat box. But this is how we can solve this. Okay, the one terminology that we use in the risk is an NOAEL. So can you tell me the full form of this NOAEL? So Pradeep gave me, Sushmita also gave me a answer. So because time has up, and I think this is the time when you are also waiting for the dinner. I'm also waiting for the dinner, but let me finish in 1 minute only. So there is a graph. I just need to uh, okay, so there is a one relation between NOAEL, and this is the reference dose. So we can define reference dose by NOAEL divided by uncertainty factor and moderate factor. And whenever we are removing this moderate factor, so this will be the formula. And based on that, we also have some numerical by which you can calculate the reference dose. So this is again one formula. There are two type of graph. The one is for the chemical that are cancer causing chemical, so for the carcinogenic chemical, and another graph is for the chemicals that are not causing the cancer, but because we are increasing the dose, this is how it can cause some kind of disease or risk. So if it is the cancer causing, then this is the linear graph, and in linear graph the risk will be dependent on the slope factor. Just keep in mind. And if we have like non carcinogenic risk, then this will be dependent on reference dose, and then NOAEL, and this dose response curve. And there is a difference between these two. You can read. I will also share with you the slide so you can see the difference between these two. And okay, so if we want to calculate the risk for non carcinogenic chemical and the risk associated with the carcinogenic chemical, then what will be the formula? So formula will be, if the chemical is non carcinogenic, then risk will be calculating in the form of hazard quotient, and this hazard quotient will be equal to intake. We already have calculated intake upon reference dose. And for the cancer causing chemical, the risk will be intake multiplied by the slope factor, as I show you in the figure. And this is how we can calculate. These are the some of the numerical that I took from the tutorial, but because time is not permitting me, if you people have time, then you can let me know. Otherwise, like, you can see my slide. So I'm just waiting for your response. Should I take your 2-3 minute more, or like, it is because it is the dinner time, so we can say goodbye for this week, and we will meet next week from 7 to 9. But yes, if you have any problem with this, like, we have just 3 or 4 numerical question. I think this is the last question. Okay, so these were the numerical question, and this is how, like, everything is done. And you can solve that numerical question. If you have any problem, you can just write me in the mail. I'm just writing my mail in the chat box, so that if you have any problem, you can let me know. I will try to solve your query. If you have any query or suggestion, you can let me know if I'm slow, or if my pace is like fast. Then can you display the previous numerical? Yes, I can show you. Which one? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here with your, like, all patience. Yes, Pradeep, I will share my content. I think tomorrow I will upload this. Tomorrow with the video and with the slide, I will upload everything. So I think we were here. So this is based on the hazard quotient, as I told you, formula in the last question. So based on that, you just first need to calculate the intake, and then if you have intake and the reference dose, you can calculate the hazard quotient. So this question is like that only. The next question is based on the cancer causing. If we have a cancer causing agent, then the formula will be intake multiply by the slope factor. So this is how we can solve this question. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for your wonderful comment for me. Yes, I will share the recording. Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you for this like beautiful comment for me. So every question, like formula, we already have discussed. So based on that formula only, we have all the numerical questions. Likewise, this is from BCF to KOW and then like all the formula we already have discussed. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I need some luck for my PhD, but anyway, thank you so much, Pradeep. Okay, so we will meet next Monday, 7 to 9, with another chapter or another session. So thank you so much. I'm leaving right now. Goodbye.